Hey guys, I'm Josh from Layzee Acres. Thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to do something a little different. We are going to look at an orientation for a Transcend. Our plan is to do a orientation video once a year on each brand. This one is for the Transcend model. The reason we're doing these videos is so that people who've had an orientation earlier can look back at this and refresh their memory on how to operate X appliance. Also, there's some customers who can't come for orientations, so this is the only orientation they're going to get. Like, let's say they're too far away, or they don't want to come and have a look at the trailer in person, do an orientation. And then there's also those customers who haven't bought a Transcend yet or haven't bought a trailer yet, and they want to find out what kind of maintenance is involved, what kind of how you operate things, you know, those kind of things. The problem with these videos is they're going to be repetitive, so and they're going to be boring. They're going to be long, probably 45 minutes or something like that. I don't know how long this one's going to be. The other problem is they change these trailers often. So 3-4 times a year, they make a change here, they make a change there, and a certain component will be a little bit obsolete. So this will be as accurate as it can be at the time of filming. I hope you guys enjoy it. Feel free to skip through to whatever parts you want. I won't be offended if you just skip through the whole thing and look at your component that you want to see how that works. But thanks guys, happy camping. Hey guys, we're starting on the outside of that Transcend orientation. Like always, we start right up at the front. First things first, you have a 2 5/16 ball here on this Transcend and all the Transcends. When you come into hookup, the ball is going to come in underneath. Coupler locks in place like that, locking the ball, and then there's a pin that goes in. Okay? From there, you have 2 chains, okay, that must crisscross and hook up to the truck. Okay? So the chain from this side hooks up on this side, chain from this side hooks up on that side. Well, the idea of that is if anything would ever happen, it would cradle. The trailer would sit in the chains and be cradling in the chain themselves. Then you have a breakaway cable. That's this silver cable right here. This is supposed to be unencumbered by the chains. So just freewheeling. And this is going to hook up to a separate link on the truck or the vehicle. Like a separate little quick link or something like that. And this, if the trailer ever becomes detached, is going to pull a pin, and the trailer won't follow you down the road. Okay, it's also one of the reasons why you have to have a battery on board while you're traveling, because you need something to power this while you're going down the road. Then the fourth thing is your hookup, your lights. You have a 7-way plug on this one. This trailer has brakes. You have to have a brake controller on the tow vehicle, and this is going to plug into the back of the tow vehicle. So that's 4 things. We have the lights, the breakaway, the chains, and the pin and the hitch. 4 things you need every single time you hook up your trailer. Okay, then we have our front power jack. There's a light there, no big deal. We have an extend or retract. Retract is to retract the leg up. Extend is to extend the leg down. Pretty straightforward. There's a plug underneath here. Come around here, look at this. That's a 3/4 inch socket. You can use your jack handle to bring this up and down manually. That's only if you have an issue with power or battery, right? It's always a hard time getting that back in. Alright, fine for now. Alright, here's your propane tanks. Okay. These will be full when they come to you, alright? Whichever tank this black switch here is pointing at is the tank it's drawing off of, okay? When this tank goes empty, this little piece of glass here at the front will turn red. Get in here and look at this, cameraman, because it's red right now. The propane tank is empty that I'm using, right? So if this tank goes empty, it'll turn red. It will automatically start drawing off of this tank without you touching anything. Then you'll come around here, flip it over, all right, and then take this tank off and get it filled. You don't have to shut this tank off. You just would take this tank off and get it filled. Bring the tank back with propane in it. And then when this tank goes empty, a red light again, and it'll automatically start drawing off of that tank. So just back and forth like that. The idea is you shouldn't run out of propane. Also from Layzee Acres, you're going to have a battery in a box sitting here on this rail. It's not here right now, but you have a red lead and a black lead. The red lead is positive, the black lead is negative. If you hook your battery up backwards, there's fuses inside that are going to blow. If you touch the positive lead on the frame of the trailer by accident, you're going to blow a couple fuses inside. For the winter, you're going to take your battery inside, okay, and don't store it on a concrete floor. Put it on a piece of wood. Keep it at, around room temperature in a garage or something like that's fine, but do not put it on the concrete floor. Great. Put these back. Just put that. Come around this side here. This plug right here is prepped for a solar panel. So you can have a Furrion solar panel on the floor. Okay. Plug it in here, and it's going to charge your battery for you. It's wired right in. This is a Furrion plug. I'm sure there's adapters you can get if you have like a Zamp solar panel or a random other different brand of solar panel. But that's designed right now for a Furrion panel. On your baggage doors, you're supposed to lock all 3 locks. Okay, so don't just lock this side, don't just lock that side, lock all 3. And that keeps enough pressure on the door seal so they don't leak. This is a 751 key on your Transcends. That's a generic key. And then you have a specific key as well for your main door. So you should have 2 different keys here for every Transcend, a 751 and a regular man door. The reason I didn't talk about disconnecting your battery for regular use is because we have a battery disconnect here. So this switch right here, if you're able to pull that out, that means the battery is disconnected. The reason you disconnect your battery is if you're just leaving it in a storage yard, leaving it in the driveway not plugged in, your battery is going to slowly draw down. It's going to be dead in a couple weeks. That's because your radio's on, your propane detector's on. So when you're not using the trailer, disconnect your battery. Nice and easy. Okay? If you can take the switch out, that means it's disconnected. Alright. Here is just a kind of like an outside shower, but this is just a cold water shower. Hold that thought. Just stay there, camera. I'll get the hose here. So it's just like a blue slinky-like hose, okay? And it looks like an air fitting. So what you do, you grab the end, stick it in, and away you go. To unhook it, you have to push the sleeve back, pull out the hose. Okay? That's just cold water. Big problem with that is people are going to forget to winterize this. So do not forget to winterize this exit. Alright. Then we have your city water connection and fresh water fill. So if you have water at the site, you're going to bring water up through here, and thread it into this spot right here. Just a standard garden hose thread. If you have water at the site, you're going to hook it up, bingo bango, you have water at your taps. You turn the water on, you're good to go. Now, if you don't have water at the taps, if you don't have water at the site, you're going to fill up a freshwater tank before you leave home, as you enter the campground, whichever, and you're going to do the same thing. Put it into here, then you're going to turn this valve to freshwater fill. Alright? So hose in, the valve pointing this way is going to fill your freshwater tank. The valve pointing down towards city water connection is just water at the site, at your taps. We have a receptacle right here. This is GFI protected. So if your outside receptacle is not working, it's because the GFI inside the trailer is kicked. You have cable inlet and satellite inlet. So if you have cable at the site, you hook up to the cable. If you have satellite, you hook up right here. That's going to go to your main TV. Nowhere else, just your main TV. Cable will go to all your TV locations. Alright. We have 4 stabilizer jacks, 1 on each corner. They are stabilizer jacks, not leveling. So they're not meant for you to lift the trailer up in certain spots. They're just meant for stabilization. You're going to back the trailer into your site, level side to side at first, using the wheels. So let's say you're low on this side. Okay? You're going to drive the head off the site, put a piece of 2x6 down, drive back up onto that piece of 2x6, and now you're level side to side. Then you're going to level it front to back. And you're going to level front to back by using your front power jack. So once it's level side to side and front to back, then you're going to come here to each jack and bring these down. And you're just going to bring it down to their snug and maybe a turn. Okay? And they're just going to stabilize the trailer, make it not as rocky. They're not for lifting, they're just for stabilization. That's a 3/4 inch socket, so you can put those on a drill, bring those down to the drill, nice and easy. Alright, come down this way. We have 15-inch tires in this guy. These are kept at 65 pounds of pressure for the tire pressure, so they should be at 65 psi. Leave them there. The lug nuts are 110 foot-pounds torqued, so you should be torquing those down to 110 pounds. It's just, when you first get this thing home, it's really its first couple trips, right? So you should retorque those down. Then in behind here, you pull that plastic cap out. There's a rubber cap in behind that. You pull that out. There's a grease nipple there. And that is designed to grease your bearings. What that means, though, is you grease your bearings at 6,000 miles. Okay? So when I say that, I mean a shot of grease at 6,000 miles. And at 12,000 miles, you pull the hubs off and repack the bearings. These are nitro-filled tires. For a trailer, I would just top them up with air. You can do what you want there, but your average trailer person is going to just top up with air. You can go to Canadian Tire and get nitro-fill there if you want, but I would just top up there. Anyways, come down the side here. Fridge vent, do not touch that. Just leave those how they are. Down below here, we have our sewer. Now, the gray tank has a gray handle and the black water has a black handle. That's nice and easy for us. Let's say you have sewer right here at the site, right? Plumbed into the ground, bingo bango, you're ready to go. You are going to leave your black water closed and your gray water open, okay? Why we do that is the gray water is going to build up, right? And that's going to run out automatically. That's no problem. But the black water, if you leave the black water open, the liquids are going to run out and the solids are going to build up on the bottom of the tank and eventually build up to the toilet. So you always leave your black water closed, even if you have sewer at the site. So then when you go to drain your black water tank at the site, you're going to come back here, close your gray water, and open your black. And it's going to flow out all at once. If you leave the gray water open while you're draining your black, there's the chance that black water can actually shoot up into your gray water tank. So just one valve at a time, okay? If you don't have sewer at the site, you're just going to go to your dumping station when you're done camping or whichever, and you're going to drain the black water first and then follow that with the gray water. Now this Transcend has a black water flush on it. What does that mean? So that's a hose here you can hook up to, like a city water connection, and it's going to spray down the inside of your black water tank. You have to have your black water open though, when the black water open when you're hooked up here. If you don't have it open, your pressure is going to build up in the tank. It's going to be a problem. Okay, so only hook up to your black water flush when you have the black water open. Okay, so now this particular floor plan has another gray water exit, and it's at the front, and this is just for your laundry. Because this one has a launder prep, you have an additional gray water drain right here. Okay, so if you're not using the laundry, you don't have to worry about that. But if you are using the laundry, you have to drain out this tank if you do laundry. Okay. All right, come towards the back here. We have a roof ladder. You have to maintain your roof every 90 days, every 3 months. I'm going to do a specific video on roof maintenance. We'll get to that later. But you have to be up there checking your seals every 90 days, maintaining your roof. That is a absolute must. Also, up there, sweeping off your slides. Like if there's some leaves or debris there on top of the slide and you go to close your slide, that's a problem. It's going to leak. So you need to sweep off your slide. Okay. We have a Furrion backup camera prep. We can install a backup camera for you. It's not a big deal. You could probably do it yourself if you order one, but that's there ready to go for you. The awning's right here. Furnace vent is right there. Don't touch that. The water heater is not something you need to touch either. The only reason you'd be back here touching anything is if you're winterizing your trailer for yourself. We're going to do a video on winterizing. It's going to be different every model. My honest opinion on winterizing, guys, is just pay someone to do it. Just pay the $70, the $100, whatever it costs to have someone winterize your trailer. But if you're doing it yourself, you need to drain this. You need to pull this plug out of the water heater drain right here at the bottom. Other than that, you don't touch this. You don't touch these valves. You don't touch this. You don't touch any electrical. You leave this how it is. It's not for a regular customer to be playing with. All right. All the switches for that are inside. Okay, so this is specific to Transcend. So not only do they have a spot at the front storage to fill your freshwater tank, but they also have a spot here. And why they did that is sometimes you go to a provincial park and there's no threaded end on the hose, so you can't thread into that spot over there at the front. So if you don't have that end on the hose, you can take your hose, stick it in here, turn your water on, it's going to fill your freshwater tank for you. When the tank's full, it's going to splash back out at you. That's how you know. This hole right here, okay, and this hole right here are to manually bring in or out your slide out. The reason you'd have that is if you're running a battery power one camping trip, or the power goes out, something like that, and you need to bring it in manually, you can do so on the Transcend rack and pinion slides. Right here is a cable outlet, so not satellite, cable outlet, receptacle outlet. Okay. Again, this is teed into your GFI circuit, so if this isn't working, it's because the GFI inside the trailer is kicked. Lend a hand grab handle, that's easy. Aluminum steps, easy. Let's operate the awning out while we're outside here. I'll just right outside do that. I'm just gonna go to the switch here, push the extend button, out it comes. Nice and easy. Basically, you're gonna bring this out until the valance, just like a 6-inch piece of fabric, sits down at 90 degrees. Right there. See how that valance is sitting at 90 degrees? That means your awning is all the way out. Now, if you want to pitch the awning one way or the other, the way you do that is you come here to this arm, pull this down. Now, the awning is pitched away from your main door. Okay? When you go to bring the awning back up, it has to be up in the spot right through there. Okay? These awnings are not meant for really rainy situations, so if it's raining hard, put your awning away. They're not meant for windy situations at all, so if it's windy, put your awning away. It's only meant for keeping sun off you and light rain. If you leave your awning open and a wind comes up, pulls the awning off the trailer, that's not a warranty thing. If you leave your awning out and a downpour happens and you bend your awning tube, that's not a warranty thing. Okay, so you need to be putting the awning away if it's really raining or really windy. That was the outside, guys. We'll do some more stuff inside. Hey guys, we're inside that Transcend orientation. Let's start with the safety stuff. First thing we see is a fire extinguisher. That's for putting out fires, guys. So every single Transcend is going to have one of those. Then you have a smoke alarm right here. This has a 9-volt battery in it. It's not attached to anything else. So if the 9-volt battery gets low, it's going to beep once every 30 seconds. Then in your bedroom, we usually have a carbon monoxide detector. And that's this guy right here. Again, 9-volt battery all by itself. Then we have a propane detector. And the propane detector is plumbed right into the trailer itself. There's no battery in this one. It's down here, different location every trailer, right? If your battery in the front of the trailer starts to get low, like the actual trailer battery, that's going to start beeping once every 30 seconds. It's pretty annoying. It's also one of the things that's going to slowly draw down on your battery if you leave your battery hooked up. Okay? If you're cleaning with some like weird kind of chemicals, it's actually going to set that off too. So that's a pretty sensitive kind of thing. It may not be a propane leak. It may just be what you've been cleaning with in the meantime. Alright, while we're at the back here, this is a rear washroom, so let's talk about the washroom. The biggest key to the washroom is leaving water in your toilet bowl. If you just have a dry toilet bowl, the stink from the tank is going to be in the trailer. So you want to leave a couple inches in there. That is going to keep the stink down there. So always do that. Now the problem is when you're traveling, you can't, right? Because it's going to be splashing all over the place. So that's why you leave your vent open while you're driving. We've been trying to put max air covers on the trailers now. So this has a max air cover on it. So you can leave your vent open when you're driving down the road. So at least the stink is going up out of the way. With the shower here, this is just pretty straightforward kind of stuff. Everybody's always like, why isn't there caulking underneath the bottom here? And that's just because the tub actually comes up in behind the surround. So it's not meant to have any caulking down there around the corners, around the edges there. We keep on talking about the GFI. This is your GFI plug, so if the outside receptacle is not working, it's because that GFI is kicked. Alright, let's move on to the propane appliances. First thing you always light before you try to light your fridge or your furnace or your water heater, you always light your stovetop first. So you've turned the propane on outside, you're going to come here to the stovetop. I can hear the gas coming. I'm going to spark it, okay? Now that I've lit the stovetop, I know I have propane and I know I have air out of the lines. Okay? Then you can go try to light anything else. So that's how you use your stovetop, nice and easy. If you don't like using the spark, you can always use a lighter. Now we're gonna light the oven. This is the only thing you have to manually light. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the knob here, turn it to pilot, and notice it says push and hold on there. I'm gonna push and hold in the pilot. Then I have to take a lighter. I don't smoke cigarettes, but I do have this lighter in my pocket. We're gonna push the pilot light in and light it down below here. Can you see that there? After I've lit it, I'm gonna hold this knob in for 30 seconds. Okay? That's gonna heat the thermocouple, let it out. If the pilot's still on, then I turn it to 400 degrees or whatever I want to turn it to. There's your oven. Okay? If you're going to use your oven a few times during the weekend or the week, you can always leave the pilot on. Otherwise, just turn it off. Okay? Cool. There is an automatic shut off there, so if the pilot goes out for whatever reason, that thermocouple will cool down and shut off all gas to the oven. So it's a safe appliance. All right, here's your fridge. Oh, okay. Now, to be honest, I haven't used this fridge before. So, we're going to turn it on. Light comes on. Bingo bango. We have different modes. Okay, so A means auto. So, if I have hydro at the site, or if I'm plugged in, which I am right now, it's running on 110. There's a little plug there showing you that. If I were to unplug the trailer, it would automatically flip over to gas for me. Okay? If for some reason I didn't want it to run on hydro while I'm plugged in, I can't think of a reason, but if that was the case, I would push mode once more, and it goes to this little teardrop, which is a symbol for gas, low pressure gas. Okay? If I don't want, and that would force it to run on gas. But for your average customer, you're going to leave out auto. If it has hydro, it'll use it. Otherwise, it'll automatically go to gas. Then you do have a control here. You can set your temperature 1 through 5. That's pretty obvious. I'll let you play around with that. Okay. We've done the bathroom. That's here. Microwave's pretty self-explanatory. When you're using your range top, turn the fan on. Pretty easy. Here's our DVD player right through here. So if you set your TV to auxiliary 1 or HDMI 1 or whatever, you can put a DVD in here. It's going to come on the TV. You also have controls for your speakers, so zone A and B. B should be outside. I don't know if you can hear that. It's running outside. A will be inside. Okay. Awesome. Shut that off. I'll let you play around with that. That's Bluetooth. That's all kind of fun stuff. But you can read the manual on that and learn how that works. All right. Cool. We do have motion sensitive lights. So if you have this dialed to number 2, it's going to come on when it senses motion. If you have it dialed on to 1, it's just on all the time. If you have it in the middle, it's off. Okay. That's how motion sensitive lights work. That's cool. All right, right here. These are all our fun switches and kind of our command center, whatever you want to say. So we've already operated the awning. We know how that works. We have slides on this model. This one has 2 slides. Some will have 1, some will have 3. This is operating the bed slide. Now, when I go out, it's going to make that clutching noise. That clutching noise is natural. It lets you know it's all the way out. When the slide comes all the way in, same thing. It's going to make that clutching noise when it's all the way in. So that's pretty easy. All the way in, all the way out. Slides are easy. You have ceiling lights, outside lights, whatever. Here's your water pump switch. So if you have water in your freshwater tank, like you filled it through the front spot or you filled it through the gravity feed over there, and you don't have water at the site, you're going to come here, turn your water pump on. Okay, that's going to pump water from the freshwater tank to the taps, shower, toilet, whatever you want. If you have water at the site, you don't touch this. This has nothing to do with that. You just have water hooked up, and it's just operating, right? Whatever pressure you have at the lines is pressure you have at the taps. Quick point. if you're hooked up to city water connection and the water pressure is like above 60 psi, feels like it's high, you should have a water pressure regulator on. Most people, most customers use a water pressure regulator all the time, regulating it down below 60 psi. So you should have one of those. I should have mentioned that up there. Right here is our water heater. So it says water heater on it, gas and electric. To turn on gas, easy, turn it on. Okay? If you were outside right now, you're here, go click, 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 and then the roar of the flame. Can you hear that? All right, maybe you can hear, maybe you can't. If the water heater did not light, this little DSI fault light would come on. That lets you know the water heater didn't light. It's probably just something like, you didn't have gas, there wasn't enough gas there, there's air in the line, something like that. So turn it off, turn it back on. Once you do that a few times, then you have to call somebody. The electric water heater is right here. The biggest problem with the electric water heater is you turn it on and there's no water in the tank and you just blew your element. So before you try to light or use your electric water heater, you have to make sure there's water in the water heater. The best way to tell that is you have water operating in the trailer, like you have water coming to the taps. You're going to come here, turn the gas one on. Come back an hour later, turn on the hot water tap. If you have consistent hot water out of that tap, that means you have water in the water heater. They use the same tank. And if you have hot water coming out of the tank from the tap, you know you have water in the tank. If you make the mistake and you turn the water heater on gas and there's no water in the tank, it doesn't do any damage. It does a lot of damage. Not a lot, but it does a bunch of damage if you turn on your water heater without there being, if you turn on your electric water heater without there being water in the tank. All right, then we have our convenience center levels, right? So you can check your monitor panel. Sorry, your monitor panel. You can check how full your fresh water is, your black water, your gray 1, your gray 2. This one has one gray water tank for your sink and your shower and your kitchen, and another tank up here in the front for your laundry. Each floor plan is going to be different. The big thing about this monitor panel is the black water is going to lie to you. Let's say you've just emptied the tank, you know it's empty. You're going to come in here, it's still going to read 2/3 full, and that's because there's literal crap on a sensor. Okay, that's a problem across the industry. There's ways of figuring it out. There's ways of getting ahead of it, but a lot of times your black water monitor panel is going to lie to you. So just keep that in mind. Your battery, your fresh water tank, your gray water tank should be pretty honest. Okay, that's that panel, nice and easy. We're going to talk about your thermostat now. Pretty straightforward. If you want to turn the heat on, so the furnace, you're going to go to heat and turn up the temperature. Okay, the fan's going to run. If you're standing outside, you're going to hear a click, 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 and then a little bit of a roar of a flame. Pretty straightforward. If you want to run the AC, you go all the way over to cool and turn the temperature down. Oh, there it is. I didn't know if it'd be warm enough in here yet. It's not that warm today. So, by turning the AC on, I've shut the furnace off, but that's going to continue to run for about a minute and a half, 2 minutes out, just to blow out the excess heat. If I turn this off now, go to off, the AC turns off automatically, bingo bango. The other function on here is you can just turn the fan on the AC. So this has nothing to do with the furnace AC, just the fan on the AC itself. Go to fan, and then you can adjust that high or low. Okay. Why people run their fan on their AC is, let's say you're at a site and you only have 15 amp service. You can't run your AC because there's not enough power, but you could run the fan on your AC just to circulate some air. We didn't talk about this on the outside, but this particular trailer is a 50 amp trailer. You can adapt it down to 30 amps and you can still operate everything. If you adapt it down to 15 amps, you can't operate your AC. Any 50 amp trailer is prepped for a secondary AC, so that could be put in the vent here above your bedroom. So you could always add a second AC. And if you have two ACs on this trailer, now you need to have 50 amp service to run them both. Okay, that's your thermostat. The last thing we have to talk about is your fuses and your breakers. And where are they? Let's see if we can find them here. Right here. They put them in behind a cupboard door to make them look nice and hidden. Basically that pulls down. You have breakers across the top and fuses on the right. They're all labeled, pretty self-explanatory. The fuses have little red lights right beside them, so if the fuse is blown, the light lights up. The breaker, if it's kicked, it just looks like that, right? So that's what a kicked breaker looks like. Turn it back on, bingo bango. Alright. Great, guys. That was the inside of a Transcend. Hope you enjoyed that video. I understand it was boring, repetitive, tedious. Thanks for tuning in. Have a good day.